Happy Easter foodies! Let's make some Easter bun. These are the ingredients needed for you to get a lovely bun like this. So let's go.
Girl, you better can't cook. Think you know you pay your pretty look. You want to live a restaurant and come done man bank book. Cook, recipe book.
So the first thing you're gonna do is activate the yeast by using 2 tablespoons of dry yeast, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, and a half cup of warm water. Once you do that, you're just gonna whisk everything together and leave this to the side until it gets nice and frothy. So after this, I'm going to heat the yeast up. Every year I try a whole new recipe. There's another bun recipe on my channel. So to 2¼ cups of stout, I've added one and a half cups of sugar. Then I'm going to go in with 1/4 cup of honey and 1/4 cup of molasses. For this, you need a half cup in total, so add these according to how you have them. Next, I'm going in with 1 stick of butter, and this is unsalted butter. Then I'm going to add a tablespoon of jam and a teaspoon of browning for coloring. Now, you're just going to heat this up, not boil this. Just heat this up until the butter gets nice and melted. Then you're going to leave this to cool all the way down before you add anything else to it. Once it's cooled, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla and 2 beaten eggs. This step is very important. Do not add the eggs until this is cooled all the way down. Otherwise, you'll have some scrambled eggs in your stout. Now onto the dry ingredients. 8 cups of flour with 2 teaspoons of salt and some spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, and ground ginger. Then I'm going to mix everything together to ensure that all the spice is just everywhere, right? Now it's time to put everything together. First, I added the yeast to the dry mixture. Then I'm going to go in with the liquid a little at a time. I'm just going to plug my stand mixer in and mix this up for a few minutes. Once it's at this stage, not too sticky or anything, I'm going to add some of the soaked raisins. These raisins were just soaking in warm water to get them nice and soft. And once it reaches to this point, you add the rest of the raisin, but in total, it should be a 1 cup of raisins or however much raisins you like. So I'm going to pause the video a little to tell you what I did after that step because it wasn't recording. So I left the dough in the pan for about 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, and then it got really big. So here I'm rolling it again before I cut it into sections to add it to my loaf tin. That is very important, proofing the dough, and then you're going to leave it to proof again in the loaf tin. Now this is what it looks like before it goes in the oven. This step is very important. So bake this for 45 minutes at 175, and while that is going, we're going to work on the glaze, which is 2 tablespoons of honey to 2 tablespoons of water. And then I'm also going to add a little browning, just a teaspoon, because I feel like the dough wasn't brown enough. So I wanted to brush it with some browning, just 1 teaspoon. After you mix that in, I just thought because I had a little of the stout mixture left, I should add about a tablespoon of it to this. And once I did, I just allowed everything to come together and I ensured that it was nice and runny. You don't want this too sticky because then your bun will be sticky. And once I get this nice and warm and everything nice and incorporated, I'm just going to leave this to cool down. Then I'm going to glaze the bun when it's 3/4, when it's almost finished. And then I'm going to glaze the bun again after it comes out of the oven, which 45 minutes later they look like this. And I'm going to add the glaze again. You see it's nice and runny. It is not too sticky. And that is what you want. So just glaze the whole bun. You leave this to cool down a little bit, then you cut it, add your cheese. I don't have tasty cheese, unfortunately, but this is how it came out. So this is my trial and error recipe really for bun. I have another recipe which I think is somewhat better than this one. but it's also on the channel. I'll link it in the description box. And of course, if you like the video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications on, visit my website at roma'skitchen.net for this and other great recipes. Happy Easter! Until next video.